We've been waiting for this one, haven't we, my friends? You'll remember some months ago we reviewed the Brous Bionic original version and it didn't go particularly well. Well, Jason's back with the Bionic 2.0. Let's see how we did. Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 5 March 2015, and yes, we are going to examine the Brous Blades Bionic 2.0 this evening. First, let's rehash what we found in the first Bionic version that we didn't like so much. Well, first of all, you'll remember there was some extremely aggressive spine jimping on the aluminum handle that basically, if you flipped the knife open with any kind of a pull stroke or a light switch move, that jimping would grab your thumb, would grab the skin on your finger, and after a few repeated flips, soon your fingertip would be hamburger. Not good, not needed on a small EDC blade like this. And by the way, if you guys want to refer to specifications and dimensions, check out the first Brous Bionic video. I will link it in the description. So that was one thing we didn't like. Second thing we didn't like was on the front edge of the lock bar was a very sharp point, like one of those one of the peaks in the jimping ended with like half a peak right up here at the front, and it, well, frankly, it cut the finger or the thumb or whatever finger was used to disengage the lock, or in gripping the knife it would actually shred the skin in this area. It was horrible. We now have a nice round peak on the front of the lock bar, and the peaks of the jimping are still effective for indexing, even for grip, but not aggressive in the least. I don't think I really mentioned this in my initial review of the first Bionic, but a lot of guys didn't like the detent. I don't think I really noticed that. This one's great, however. Push button flip works great. Light switch flip really works great. I mean, nothing to complain about there. The other thing that I gave negative marks to this knife for in its first version was the base of the edge and how it intersects with the plunge grind. You can see on this version 2.0, well, I made up my mind that I am not going to make a negative comment about this knife. So you guys just look at the base of the edge. And you form your own opinions and conclusions. This is after I've sharpened the knife. They don't come particularly sharp from the factory. Didn't change the shape back there at all. It is what it is. The other thing I gave the knife bad marks for first time out was extremely early lock engagement, and the fact that if you use the knife and gave it any kind of a torquing or twisting motion, you could get the knife lock to disengage without meaning to. Again, I'm not going to make any comments. And I'm not going to torque the knife at all. Just gripping it in a right-handed saber grip, firmly. And that is the lockup in a grip on the Brous Bionic 2.0. Knife retails for $159. Anodized aluminum handle, black wash D2 blade, hollow ground. Takes a nice enough edge. Not ground super thin for a 3-inch class EDC blade, but thin enough with that excellent D2 steel and a good heat treat apparently to achieve a very high initial sharpness, pretty good slicing ability. But you know, then this sort of mid-tech or low-volume production form at 160 bucks, does the Bionic measure up to other knives in its class? Not pictured here. Don't have one in my inventory. How about a Spyderco Sage 2, the titanium frame lock S30V bladed Spyderco? I know it's not a flipper. I know it's not on bearings. But it's a similarly sized knife, extremely high quality, great fit and finish, about the same price. Which one would you buy? At a little bit higher price point, I guess. How about the Benchmade Nakamura? Pretty similar size, Nakamura being a little bit heavier. Completely different thinking. We got axis lock instead of a liner lock. Both are tip up only, left or right hand carry, fairly ambidextrous knives. M390 steel, extremely well ground, much thinner behind the edge. This is the Nakamura with a 15 degrees per side bevel. This is a Bionic with an 18 degrees per side bevel. Quite a bit thicker behind the edge. Frankly, I was kind of hoping for a little bit better second effort. And when I first looked at this knife, this belongs to one of my sharpening customers. I knew Jason wasn't going to do anything with the ricasso. Not sure why we think this is a good idea, but we do. The jimping being gone from the handle, I noticed right away, and it's so much better in hand. And I noticed right away that the reoriented jimping on the liner was much better than the original. It wasn't really until I got it on the sharpening bench that I noticed the other issues. I really was pretty excited to do this review and give Jason a rave for this knife. It's better than the first one. Does it really compete in that $150 to $200 high-end carry EDC blade market? I don't think it really does. And I'm not too happy to report that, but it is what it is. That's all for this one, guys. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.